Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Token Games Podcast. I'm your host and sometimes referee, Zach Stat Pearson, and today I'm joined by the living legend, 120 times over, one Xeno 120.
Hello world, all what happens it?
And of course, the series aka podcast legend, a one ish 9,000 plus one.
Hey, how you doing?
All right, so the topics are very, I want to say all over this particular time. Topic 1, E3 is rebranding or devolving? E3 is reconstructing how they do their event from the ground up to include celebrities and more YouTube influencers due to decline in, visitors. However, their decline is not actually that big of a decline. Topic 2, due to chronic misinformation and illogical permanent or temporary bans of professional streamers online of the non-adult variety, do you think that Mixer is now a viable platform? We'll go into more about that one when we get to it. Topic 3, the reboot of the Boondocks via HBO Max has been confirmed to have 2 seasons so far. I don't want to say 2 seasons and make people think it's going to end in 2 seasons. You know how it is with the Boondocks. You never know when the end is coming. You just know it's always looming. What do you want to see or have show up in the new show or new version of the show? Topic 4. The next generation of counsels begins next year, or begins and ends next year, as some seem to think. Which titles that have happened throughout the course of the PlayStation and Xbox history do you think should start off next-gen sequel-wise? Or rather, start off the next generation sequel-wise. Should probably have a comma right there. My bad. Now, that being said, since we ain't seen you in a while, Xeno, why don't you go ahead and go first?
Alright, say less. Okay, so E3 rebranding, right? Okay, so what I think is they are going to start selling more. I mean, okay, well, gaming is entertainment, but like less entertainment geared toward games themselves and what everybody else could bring to the popularity of those like games. You know what I'm saying?
No, not really.
So I think there's going to be more than just games. There's going to be other stuff, right? Which is not bad, but E3 is like a gaming expo, and was always has been. So I don't know. I guess they're just branching. I would just say they're branching. I just hope it doesn't it's like the adding of other components of it doesn't swallow like its main focus.
A good hope to have.
Yeah, hope. That's one way to look at it. Okay, so for topic 2, since it needs a little bit more detail, we already know the history, but for the 0.18 of a person who might be looking and listening to this for the first time, basically, Twitch has always played fast and loose and stupid with their own rules of what some perceive to be based on your prettiness level. However, most likely because of an algorithm issue or maybe they're under new management, Twitch has done bans that don't follow any form of coherency listed under their terms of service, which is basically the equivalent of a bylaw. For example, there's a athletic streamer, because Twitch doesn't just do video games anymore, but there's an athletic streamer, and this athletic streamer, she works out, and she was in workout clothing, not being sexual or trying to do anything dirty minded. And because I guess you could see her belly button and that torso area around the belly button, not that much, even though she's in long shorts and gear and a hoodie cut off, decided to ban her. And even though it was a temporary permanent ban. There was never an explanation given as to what got her banned. But since the ban happened within a day or a minute of her last post, which is what I just told you, that's what happened. Not to mention other people, which we've talked about probably forever, or at least if you haven't, go look up L of the Day. I probably should link him. I know you don't know who we are, and it's not a competition for me, but when I reference other YouTubers, which is a rarity, I'm probably going to start putting in links. But L of the Day, whose whole entire channel is literally calling out e-thoughts or shameless individuals, not due to promiscuity, mind you, but shameless in the fact that they don't have any concept of it or really honor or dignity, who go around trying to manipulate people to get money that they don't even properly spend, as well as lies upon lies upon lies via streaming, or trying to get attention by, quote unquote, getting away with the rules that are in place on Twitch. And they seem to disproportionately fall into the category of, oh, you're not in trouble, or your trouble is somehow less severe if you're female, even though Twitch's terms of service do not have a gender bias inherent. So that's why I'm asking, do you think Mixer is a better platform, for the simple fact that their rules follow better logic? Continue.
Yeah. So on to topic 3. No, I'm just kidding. Well, Twitch been wilding lately. So honestly, I feel like if people like Twitch streamers are moving to Mixer, like for example, people who are moving to Mixer, they clearly are just not satisfied with Twitch. Or I mean, that's some of the cases, but other times they want to move to a different platform, whatever. But anyway, I think it depends. Because for example, I don't think like Mixer is as popular as Twitch, and like from what I've seen.
Oh, it's not. Plus Mixer isn't even that old.
It's not. It's like I remember when because it was actually rebranded like 2 or 3 times before it was called Mixer.
Shit, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it was. So, but I think it's just the fact that Mixer's newer. They're going to be a lot more lenient on a lot of things. Because like, okay, it's like a supply and demand. Like you have viewers who are like, oh, they all thoughts. Then you have a lot of female like content creators, like for example on Twitch. Then they're gonna have to do something about it. And I think they overdo it. They tend to overdo it. Whereas Mixer is like not as popular. Kind of like it's up there, but it's not to the point where it's problematic in the aspect that when you see a woman gamer versus a man gamer, and then you think people talk different or whatever. Like it's just a big difference. So I just think because it's like up and coming, it's going to be for the time. Like now, it's going to be probably the best time to switch to it. I think it would be easier, but I feel like it's just going to have the same effect that Twitch did, where it's like it starts, oh, okay, yeah, this is good. Everybody goes there, and then once everything starts to get riled up and it's too much to handle, then they're going to essentially start being like Twitch. But I think it's just a time thing. But that's just my. I think it's just really just time-based factor.
Fair enough.
So yeah, for now, I think Mixer's for now, like just the yeah. Okay, that was topic 2. Topic 3, right? The Boondocks. I fucks with the Boondocks. Like I really, can I curse? I can curse. I really fucks with the Boondocks.
Yes, you can curse.
Like heavy, right? But the thing is, okay, rant. A lot of people watch the Boondocks strictly for entertainment, but there are a lot of messages built into every episode. And
yes, those are called white people. We know.
I'm not talking about the latest season. The latest season was just, for me, the latest season was just like a big fan fiction, or like me. It's like a meme season because a lot of stuff they were showing. Well, from what I seen, because I actually didn't see all the episodes. I seen the majority of them were things like for example, Breaking Granddad. Like, why do you need a Breaking Bad episode of the Boondocks? It's
Okay,
just
so to answer that question, you're not wrong. What happened was, and this is me heavily abbreviating with, Aaron Magruder kind of sort of pissed away all of his goodwill Sony gave him with chronic continuous production delays, but also factor in he was never supposed to say that season 3 was the last season of the Boondocks because Sony makes that decision and they were catching flack for it, which agitated them. So what ended up happening was he got fired from production, even though they didn't want to do it because of everything I told you. So they brought in a black female writer from Scrubs to do all of season 4. So season 4 kind of fell into her lap. It was kind of sort of just like Community. Dan Harmon did 1 through 3, and then got fired when 4 came out, and then his influence was left. So yeah, that's kind of what happened.
okay. See, that I didn't know. I know like the first part, but the last half I didn't know. See, that makes more sense. But at the same time, I just think that if they were going to take somebody else's work, or not take the work, but like take up the work, they should at least have it true to the original formula. So I didn't really like the last season like that. It was some episodes that did make me laugh. Like the first episode was kind of funny to me, Pretty Boy Flizzy. The Stick Meter one was funny, but it was only had moments of it being funny, not the whole thing.
Damn, I don't even remember that episode.
As long as it's not like that, and I think they actually have a lot more originality within the episodes, I'm good with it. I already was calling it an anime, but now it looks way more anime. So with that being said, I can't wait for him to have it. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. I can't wait for them to be saying shit like, "Jail nigga, you gay." Like, that's like one of my favorite lines because it's fucking hilarious. Anyway,
according to YouTube, everyone loves it.
Okay, topic 4. I think that for the new generation of consoles, right?
Uh-huh.
For Xbox, I think they just gonna have to have Halo. That's just off the top. That's just their bread and butter right now. Even though a lot of people didn't take 5 as much as they did like 2 or 3, but I like Halo, and I would buy Xbox just for Halo. That's one of them games for me, and that says okay, I ain't gonna say it says a lot, but that's what it is, right? So, bread and butter, Halo. Most likely I can see them bringing out another Gears game because I think that's kind of their, like some of their top tier stuff. Well, for them, even though I believe they should stop at Gears 3. Forza Horizon or Forza. Forza's actually legit.
No. You can say Horizon because Forza is split into different franchises. Remember, so Forza Horizon 5.
Okay, yeah, Forza Horizon. I fuck with that way more than I do the yeah. All right, so that let's see. And I'm guessing they would probably like re-release Crackdown or something because that's the only other game I can think of that's for Xbox that's half-ass good to people. Even though I personally don't like. For me, that game is not that great. It's just like Saints Row 3 and up.
Damn.
It is. It's just like Saints Row 3 for me. It's just like, oh, you the cop or something.
Well, shit. We'll agree to disagree.
But that's Xbox. I think that didn't they just acquire? They just acquired a company, if I'm not mistaken.
Insomniac.
So
Sony got Insomniac.
No, that's PlayStation.
Yeah, Sony got Insomniac.
No, I was talking about Xbox or Microsoft. My bad, Microsoft.
Earlier in the year, they got Team Ninja. Not Team Ninja. Fuck. Ninja Theory.
Okay, that's what it is. I just know they need some new IPs that aren't like
First person shooters.
that are some. Well, yeah. Well, see, the thing is about this is my thing about Xbox and PlayStation. It just for me, just my opinion, because I have both, so I can say this. I feel like I have more merit. It depends on what you like playing. Xbox
So true.
is made for like
So
multiplayer,
fucking true.
shooters, and like sports games. That's just like some of the like basic games that you play on there. And PlayStation is made for like RPGs mostly. Maybe like puzzle arcade games. And no, not really arcade, just kind of a mix. But like mostly just because I play RPGs, so that's why I got a PlayStation. That's why I like it more. But I just think it depends on what you like playing. So either way, like unless you're getting like Call of Duty, in which depending on who makes it, it's better for one console or the other. It doesn't really matter. So for PlayStation, they're gonna have The Last of Us. That's just their bread and butter right now. They're gonna make another Spider-Man game, most likely. Hopefully not as tedious because it was too much unnecessary grinding going on in that game. Then you got Final Fantasies and stuff like that, and that's just Square Enix. But and they have Persona, I want to say.
Fuck that shit. I want
But I think they're just gonna probably just like remake that. Oh, and Horizon.
I want Digital Devil
Like
Saga.
games. But to start, it's gonna have to be like The Last of Us, Horizon, like some of the top games, Spider-Man maybe, like a sequel. So that's it. That's just my opinion. I'm done.
Okay. I'm gonna go next.
I have a feeling.
I don't know how because 90% of the time I go last, but all right. So as far as topic 1 is concerned, I really hate to say this, but I feel like we already know that behind the scenes E3 is managed by insecure jackassery. They're trying to come out of that, and I commend them for it, for recognizing that there's an issue after they got caught. But I honestly feel like E3 is getting ready to turn into San Diego Comic-Con. And that sucks. Also, I think they're in the same place. Not too sure. Anyways, real talk, and I do mean the realest talk. Anytime you've let corporations have their say-so in any form of pop culture industry or industry that heavily involves the arts in North America, when has it ever turned out better? Like, objectively better. For those of you who are unsure, because so many people use objectively wrong, I mean, when have you seen it turn out absolutely better? Nothing went wrong. Fucking never. Fucking never. Or at least not in the past damn near 40 years in this country. I'm scared for E3. Overcrowding, it is what it is with overcrowding. But the way I look at it, the biggest issue is going to be what type of fan do they want to truly come and which ones are they going to cater to? Now, people feel how they feel about YouTubers and streamers getting preferential treatment in public, not just with an early copy and shit like that. But that kind of sort of ties into our last week's topics of you can't trust that review shit then. If the big corporations that own big review companies make sure that people can't do reviews without fucking, signing something saying you won't give it this shitty of a grade, what makes you think they won't do it with a YouTuber or some shit like that? Well, the YouTubers can say no. Yeah, they can say no, but will they?
No.
Kim Kardashian has I think so far she's made over $100 million over her piece of shit, garbage cell phone video game. Do you know why? It's not because her name was on it. It's because she paid Felix, the Pootie guy, because I fucking hate saying that full name, paid him to play it. This is the dude that calls out Twitch thoughts. Bruh, she's the original. Why the fuck are you doing her marketing? Because she paid him. It's that simple. And because of that, I'm going to be scared to go to E3 from now on. But to be fair, if money does rain like it's supposed to next month, I got a lot of other shit I can go to at that point. PAX East, PAX West, Gamescom, which I don't think is in this country, but I don't give a fuck. It's Gamescom. So yeah, also people got to remember, E3 is not the biggest convention. It's the earliest gaming convention. MagFest can't compare to it because MagFest's job is not to do what E3's job is, which is show people, no longer just retail management and retail company owners, hey, please buy our shit. It's to...
MagFest is all about the music.
It mixes and matches, kind of like A&G, but eh. But bottom line is, fucking E3 is about to go through some growing pains that might not even finish panning out until at least 3 or 4 years from now. And topic 2, fucking, I want to say, because see, y'all know how I feel about social media, or rather social media as a job type shit. It either is for you or it ain't for you based on your personality and what you go through and what you feel whenever you're recording and setting up, and how it affects your life and how financially stable you can make yourself. Because at the end of the day, they could claim that they love these jobs as much as they do and all this shit, but financially speaking, that most of this shit is not stable. And even though they could make it stable, how many of these YouTubers actually invest in their own savings? What was it? Ninja complained about going on a vacation and not going on vacation. He changed and played some other game that wasn't Fortnite way, way early in his booming career. And fucking legit, he said he lost $60,000 in revenue for missing like 3 days. Now, see, here's the thing. Ninja's rich. He shouldn't care. But if you ain't got savings, if your wife is in your bank account, also, let me just clarify, not to stereotype, but one of the leading reasons why people get divorced in North America is financial reasons. Personalities, probably a close second, or either the primary, but it's financial. And one of the easy ways to prevent that is to keep shit separated. You can have a joint account, but the joint account is a shared account. It's not your primary account. So for all we know, she's burning up money out of both ends, like the shit, just, falls out of the sky. It is what it is. I don't know that man's life all that well. I just know what he actually said out of his own mouth. So when it comes to Mixer, or people who don't like that Twitch's requirements to become an associate or an affiliate keep increasing over time, it may look like the best idea ever. But here's the thing. If you're going to transition from Twitch to Mixer and you're not Ninja, you run the risk of losing everything you built up. I think what's going to happen is a lot of streamers are going to start saying that they're on Twitch and Mixer until the Mixer overdoes the Twitch. Or Twitch is going to try to incentivize people staying on their platform because they can't buy Microsoft.
Actually, just a point. One of the YouTubers I watched, he was on YouTube, went to Twitch, and then was kind of doing all of them simultaneously. And I think he does more Mixer now than he does Twitch.
Was there a point?
It was a clean transition. Like, he was doing, like, Twitch and Mixer, but then, like, he was slowly transitioning over. I was building onto your point.
Yeah, you're right. But here's the thing. That success is not guaranteed for everyone. You know? Just because there's hundreds of thousands, probably not even, just because there's thousands and thousands of streamers doesn't mean that everyone's going to get lucky like that. And Twitch can't buy Mixer because even if Amazon connected to Jeff Bezos could buy Microsoft, fucking Microsoft don't like to let anybody else get money or get money on the level to where they can purchase their own shit. I'm not saying they do some behind the scenes crazy stuff that could get me sued. What I'm saying is that, you know, buying into some real power at Microsoft cost a pretty big ass penny. And yes, Jeff Bezos got possibly the second, if not first, biggest penny that a motherfucker can come across. But here's the thing. He has to pay for the shit he has with that penny he got. So you may see $100 billion or $500 billion net worth, but ask yourself, how much of that has to fund the business? See, when you're at his level of money, you don't get your money until you dodge some taxes. That's when you know how much money that motherfucker really made. But here's the thing. We never see the bank account. So, because of that, let's be honest. Mixer can't get fucked with, which is a very unique position to be in. But I will say this. Unlike most people, or probably anyone ever, I actually read Mixer's terms of service. It took a while, but I did read it. Let me tell you. Mixer's on the right path because so far, and I stress that term, which basically means yet, so far, Mixer has actually upheld their own rules to shit. So you know what that means? That means it's automatically a more fair playing field for men. And let's be honest, people feel how they feel about privilege, but I feel like, no pun intended, people who want to get closer and closer to a redistribution to where we get as close to humanly fair as possible. But then, you know, you want to be on Twitch and you want to be a fucking hypocrite. I don't give a shit if you go to Mixer. Fuck you. Stay where you are. Either become better or don't. You know what you do. You know who you are. You know what you are, and you know what you want to be, and you know what you lie about trying to be. I don't fucking care anymore. I have no more patience. I have no more empathy and no more mercy for any form of an e-thought. And let me just say this right now. E-thought is not gender exclusive. But the way Twitch works, it damn near looks segregated. So I can honestly say I'm comfortable with anybody I follow, even if they don't do nasty shit, going to Mixer just because of losing respect for Twitch. It's like you got a choice between two parents. The judge lets you pick which parents you want to primarily live with. You know, one's a scumbag and the other one's a decent human being. Who are you going to go for? The decent human being. It's not even a hard choice. You're going to go for the decent human being. Fuck. Anyways, as far as topic 3, first off, praise Black Jesus. We finally getting some more Boondocks. If there ever was something that I hated waiting for but didn't get tired of, unlike Kingdom Hearts, it's the Boondocks.
Man.
Hey, fuck you. No Final Fantasy characters in that fucking game. It's the whole reason that people bought it in the first damn place.
More false.
No, it's not false, dude. It was in the fucking commercial.
You said that's why most people didn't buy it, or did?
Did.
Oh, that's not why I bought it.
Yeah, but you're one person.
I make up the
The
me.
vast majority bought it because it had Final Fantasy characters.
The fucking first commercial highlight was "You'll never know who you meet next," and you see Cloud goddamn Strife come out.
You know what's weird? That the people who didn't really know Final Fantasy knew the Disney characters. So I feel like maybe y'all giving them too much credit.
No, we're not. We're literally not. People wanted to dismiss the game because it seemed too childish because they saw Disney characters. Then they saw Cloud Strife. Not to mention the second game, which it had some of the best balance of Disney to Final Fantasy ratio. Is still considered widely to be the best game in the entire series. That game came out in 2004. They have had 5 Kingdom Hearts titles since then and 3 compilations or collections, if you will. And 2 is still considered to be the best, with Birth by Sleep making up a secondary.
2 is the best because of mechanics, not because of Final Fantasy.
2 is the best because of the balance between everything in it, minus the reaction commands, because that shit was broken, but it was fun.
First triangle to win.
Birth by Sleep gets a pass only because it's a story, no pun intended, that's in the past. But people did ask, why are Final Fantasy characters missing? Because if you're going in the past and you're in Twilight Town or Tavern Town, whatever it was called, and they all were there, where the fuck are they at right now in Birth by Sleep? They basically closed a fucking door, not just to their own fans, but they closed a door of story. But you know why that happened? Because Tetsuya Nomura decided he's going to write Kingdom Hearts 3 by himself, which is fucking stupid. And I'm not saying that because I think that man's a fucking idiot. I know he's crazy, but he's what you'd call a passive-aggressive kind of crazy. His crazy is not meant to hurt people. It's just completely illogical, and no one seems to stop him or correct him. First off, he thinks it's cool to tell people he works on 10 games at once. I'm like, no, dude, that's fucking insane. That is stupid. Secondly, every Kingdom Hearts, literally every one except 3, was written by a group of people or people that weren't just him by himself. So all the issues you see with 3, besides the Frozen ones, and all the shit that happened with that one game where Sora was a digital piece of code that don't make sense, yeah, it's all because of him. Nobody checked behind him because he's him, and he did it all alone those 2 times, and I wished he fucking didn't. But yeah, hey, if he don't like Final Fantasy characters no more, why is he still working on 7? Just stop. That's the most confusing thing to me about the whole entire situation. You obviously don't want to give a shit about the Final Fantasy characters anymore. Not just the ones you made, but in general. But then you'll confirm there's going to be a 10-3 one day and shit like this. But then when you get to Kingdom Hearts, fuck them? Nah. I retire, much like Dead or Alive 6, I retire my interest in the Kingdom Hearts franchise. But in the Kingdom Hearts franchise, I have that asterisk of until I see Final Fantasy characters, besides a fucking Moogle, get the respect that they were getting. I'm going to tell you something. I don't care about half the characters that even show up in a Kingdom Hearts game. Half of them, I think, only come back because he can't invent new characters or can't invent a reason to use a new character over a reused character. Organization 13 could have ended with Kingdom Hearts 2. They were already featured in 2 games, but now they keep coming up in those trench coats throughout the entire series, to the point where it doesn't even make sense. The Keyblade War was hundreds, if not thousands of years ago, and you're telling me that the master of all Keyblade shits was wearing a modern day, what looks like leather trench coat with leather gloves and a metal chain in his hood on his coat with metal zippers? But everyone else was wearing robes and gowns. And I'm just sitting up here like, some of these things do not match.
Time travel.
No, that doesn't actually fix anything. But knowing
It
Nomura,
does.
no, it doesn't. Knowing Nomura,
Yeah, it does.
no, it doesn't. Knowing Nomura, he will
If you
probably
time travel into the future and come back to the past, wouldn't you have things from the future?
no,
You're retarded.
no. It's not how it works. That's how television and Hollywood want it to work. But science, you know, the thing that never gets factored into Kingdom Hearts,
Have you
would
ever
not literally
time-
even done that. And I'm gonna tell you why it got disproven, even though it's theoretical. Because the object that was made and the raw materials of it would instantly cease to be.
This is
While
real
you're
life. It's a game. That makes no sense of what you're saying.
Well, then how are you trying to apply logic to it since it's also a fucking game?
I just gave you game logic. You gave me real life.
No.
logic.
Game logic at no point in time dictated that modern clothing and technology somehow went backwards. Remember, the Master of Master has access to electricity, magic, enough science to literally create fucking life. Create life. Also, enter the subconscious mind and conscious mind of people, as well as their quote-unquote hearts. This is thousands or hundreds of years ago. But you're telling me, future modern era shit, that somehow Organization 13, which technically has no connection to the Master of Masters, with the exception of one person who we didn't even find out till Kingdom Hearts 3, all have his exact outfit from hundreds of thousands of years ago. We have literally no outfit in this world that existed that long that humans can still wear. Don't get me wrong. It is made out of leather. It is high quality material. And the chains are metal. And so is the zipper. I get that. What I'm telling you is that you can. I'm pointing out how frivolous and irresponsible the logic behind a lot of things in the game are, including the characters, the story, and their design when he gets left alone. That was my whole point. Kingdom Hearts is convoluted. It is very hard to make sense of that shit. They noticed that. They even said it in multiple interviews, even though idiot fans will sit up there and lie and say everything's perfectly fine and you're just an idiot. I won't say his name, but I fucking hate that dude and he's so damn stupid. And I'm actually glad that he's going to die alone and miserable because he can't not be an asshole. It's like there's a switch and he won't turn it off. But they know their shit is fucked up. So what do you think would happen if one person writes it by himself alone when literally close to 7 or 8 different writers have written 90% of the entire story up to that point? Let alone they had cutscenes that didn't make sense. So realistically speaking, not to get too much further off topic, it's a very, very simple thing. You have to control how you go about respecting your fans or respecting your own story. Now, when you don't have that control, you end up with shit like Kingdom Hearts, which at this point just looks like a giant fan fiction, but the worst possible kind. So yeah, I'm gonna get off of that though. All right, so what I want to see in HBO Max version of Boondocks, which we got way off topic of, one of the primary things I want to see them do is actually show the rest of the cast. Huey, Riley, Granddad, and their neighbors, and Ruckus were never the sole people of the fucking the comic strip. Within the first, I believe, year and a half, they introduced other characters. In fact, Huey's best friends, or one of his best friends, never even got brought up in the entire show. And he's in, I think, like close to 40%, if not more, of the strips. A character by the name of Caesar. Or at least he calls himself Caesar. And that's fucking stupid. It's fucking stupid. And I don't mean that because I think it's a terrible thing to do or it's a disrespect to the franchise, blah, blah, blah. I mean it's stupid in the sense that you're narrowing down the types of stories you can make and you can write. Jasmine is nothing like Huey or Riley. And they know that. Riley doesn't give a shit unless he can get something from her. But Huey knows that there's a level of innocence and confusion inside of her. And he warns her from time to time. But also, he also sometimes sees her as a bit of a sidekick, or at least that's how it was in the show. But there are other characters with different personalities that could do all types of shit, like Cindy McPherson. I hate to say it, but Cindy McPherson didn't get enough screen time. People don't even remember her name. A lot of people I've seen say, man, I like that hood white girl. Like, hood white girl? What the fuck? They mean Cindy McPherson. Cindy McPherson is that white girl that acts like Riley and sounds like Riley. She's a hilarious character. But again, when you start separating the original support characters from the show, you limit what can happen unless you invent new people. Like, look at that Jack Flowers guy. That motherfucker got pretty much an entire episode devoted to himself. Why? Don't nobody fucking know him. He's just a 24 ripoff who happens to have red hair. Fuck, what's the point of that? We never figured out if the White Shadow was real. Y'all remember the White Shadow? Well, damn, I guess it's just me. The White Shadow basically was or was not a member of the FBI that followed Huey because Huey was on the government's shit list. You know? He had been labeled a domestic terrorist. And he somehow knew every single thing that his family had said and shit. Basically, it was almost like a reference to the shit Edward Snowden talks about before Edward Snowden blew up.
Yep.
And fun fact, he was voiced by the doctor that always hated the main character from Scrubs. Fucking love that guy. Damn, I wish I could remember his name. But anyways, what was it? Oh yeah. So I want to see more of the original supporting cast show up so we can get more story variety. And even though it's not meant to be like that, I really want to see more kung fu action sequences with the family. Because when the family squatted up to fight Stink Meaner's return, that was cold. When they played dodgeball, which, man, they had some deep meanings and shit behind there, that shit was cold. Also, I want them to utilize Dante Bosco more. They didn't have enough Dante Bosco. Like, there are so many places they could go. What if Huey and Uncle Ruckus meet Donald Trump?
Oh, good God.
See? So I'm just like, real talk. That's what I want. Also, I just want to slightly talk about how people seem to have an issue with the art style. Listen to me very, very carefully. Hush. I ain't got nothing negative for you. I ain't got nothing positive for you. I just got something neutral. Hush. Because the vast majority of us don't care. You could recognize their silhouettes. They seem a little bit shorter, but to be fair, they should be, because Riley is 7 and Huey is 9, or either Riley is 7 and Huey is 8. They seemed a little bit too tall to begin with. However, to be fair, Huey got a lot of hair. He got a lot of hair.
Some would say anime hair.
No, they wouldn't. They would just call it African American Afro. But I digress. Also, keep in mind that the comic strip and the TV show never had lined up artwork. The first season didn't even have enough mouth flaps for all the episodes that they did. And the characters were slightly different. Then when you get to season 2, you see they refined it and they carried it on from 2 to 3 to 4. And that's what happens with a lot of cartoons. Over time, they refine it down to a place that they're comfortable with, and then they just upgrade the efficiency of them turning out that quality level, or they change the overall quality of the shit at the basic level. For example, compare the first episode of Naruto to the first episode of Boruto. Boruto kind of
Huge difference.
yeah, but you know most people might not recognize it because all anime look alike. All anime does not look alike. 90% of it looks alike,
Only 80.
and that's being generous. Fucking yeah. So I hear your issues. I understand your complaints. They look too anime. Well, Granddad don't. Granddad look like fucking Black Clint Eastwood. Look,
And that's kind of cool.
what you need to worry about is the quality of the writing and if the animation quality can't be maintained. That's what you need to look at. Anyways, as far as topic 4, I'm just come out and say it. I don't really fuck with Xbox. But I've said that a billion times over. So let me just say, if there's a Forza Horizon 5 around the horizon, no pun intended, that'll probably make me get one. Because that is the rarest form of video game that people play naturally. It's racing simulations. But it's almost considered like a premium form of gaming. Because the level of, I don't know what you call it, controllers, or the amount of controllers and the price that you can use for that game is insane. Remember, you can get your racing wheel, and on top of your racing wheel, you can get your pedals. Then you can get your manual or automatic stick shift. Fucking, I'm forgetting something. I can't remember what it was. Oh yeah, and then you can use 2 extra monitors to be your left and right mirrors on the front of your car. It's fucking crazy. Then you can change the camera angle to either show the car or show you as if you were driving in the car from the driver perspective, or erase the car and move the camera of the game directly where the fucking hood of the car would be, so you really feel like you're on the fucking road. Not to mention, unlike Gran Turismo, it's not limited to just, racetracks and racing. You can also create your own tracks. You can explore, and you can also change the route or driving mechanics based on the season. It's crazy. Like, I want to play that game, but I don't want to play it with a regular controller. Also, when else is anybody going to drive a fucking McLaren? Go Google how much them bitches cost. I dare you. Anyways. When it comes to PlayStation, it's way too early for us to have a PlayStation 5 Spider-Man game, by Insomniac at least, and I acknowledge that. So what I'm thinking is, obviously they've had enough time to make a new Horizon game. I think they did confirm or indirectly imply they started on it last year. Horizon Zero Dawn, for those of you wondering, is what I mean. I want to see the next Nier Automata game. Now, if you know anything about the Nier franchise, they normally...
Weird.
That too, but they normally roll over certain aspects from the last game and they put them in a different time setting. Or, if they wanted to, this time, since, they're not using humans, they could roll over the characters, but they could put them in a different setting or format, especially since their minds can be wiped. Because no matter what ending you get in the game, including the endings you can only get from a fucking novel that came out only in Japan after the game's release, none of the characters get a happy ending, and none of them truly die or truly live, or whatever you want to call it. And also, if you really, really look at the ending of the game, the pods look like they were going to reboot a new 9S and a new 2B. And A2 found a body somehow, or either A2 had multiple bodies that she had backed up. The A2 thing was actually kind of confusing, so I don't really know. But nobody in the game had the ability to do time resets. So there's a lot of unanswered questions no matter what ending you use. And if you know anything about Yoko Taro, he will pick an ending to continue the franchise or to continue down that story path solely based on how he feels. So, I don't know, man. I just really am sad that all these crossover events that happen with Nier Automata, so far I think I'm counting 10, but Nier Automata the game has no built-in crossovers outside of that shitty Final Fantasy 15 sword. Like, literally. Nier Automata appears in a Star Ocean Games, Final Fantasy 14 all next month, their own story mode, 2 different Android cell phone games, Soul Calibur 5, no, sorry, Soul Calibur 6, don't touch 5, burn it if you see it. And like 3 or 4 other Japan-only games I can't even fucking think of or remember right now. Not to mention Phantasy Star Online 2. You can be 9S or 2B, and you can even have a pod as a mag. For those of you who know what the mag is. And what does Nier Automata have since then? Still that Final Fantasy 15 bullshit ass engine sword that nobody uses like 5 minutes after they unlock it. Cause that shit sucks. At max level. Unless you're going for a trophy, don't nobody fuck with that thing. Anyways. Yeah, enough time has passed because first off, Nier Automata was made on a very small budget with a very, very small time. So imagine if he had double that budget, even if he had the same time, if not more. Like, seriously. I want a Nier Automata 2. I don't care if I can't play 2B, 9S, A2. Put them in the game. Make them AI companions. Something. That game's replay value is just solely based on people's natural curiosity to see what they can unlock. Because there's nothing else to the story. The secret boss fight, which is a little bit too annoying to get, only gives you one cutscene that's not even about the main characters. And there's only really 2 secret boss fights. And it's the same damn motherfucker. And it's a boring fight. It's fucking crazy, man. What else? Oh yeah. No one said it, so I get to say it. And on the Switch, no, wait, it has to be a sequel of something that already came out. Okay, so I can't say Skies of Arcadia 2.
And that is why I was sure you wanted to go for me. You want me to steal your thunder.
Well, we both couldn't use it because that implies that the first game came out on the current generation of systems. I want to see a Dragon Ball FighterZ sequel. And I know that seems really, really early because, you know, they're doing seasonal DLC, but they're only contracted to do 2 seasons. And it's very simple. The dash mechanics are still fucking broken. And I don't mean broken in that dramatic way that most people mean it in fighting games where something does more damage than everyone thinks it should, or something is too unavoidable and everyone thinks it should get reduced or nerfed into the ground. No, I mean, it doesn't function how they try to pretend it does. And Holland, you've done it with me and you've seen it 1,000,000,001 times. Depending on how a character dashes or lands on the ground, your characters, if they're set into the flying animation, will literally run face first into the game's wall, and then their character will start dashing to the point where they're almost out of the screen. That wasn't intentional. Also, if you're dashing on a short character and they do any type of move that moves them forward, your character will smash face first into the ground on the other side of them instead of flying directly into them. And that's not something that they're going to fix over time easily with a simple patch. Because if they wanted to, or did have an interest in it, they would have done it by now. So at this point, I don't think anything's going to change legit unless we get a new game out in the series. Furthermore, well, Guilty Gear's on the PlayStation 4, but let's be honest, we all know it's going to jump to the PlayStation 5. So, you know, I ain't got to say that, but I want another Marvel vs. Capcom because the last one left a bad taste in everybody's face, mouth, and asshole. And ears. And any other hole I'm not thinking of. Do I even need to say it? They did almost everything right with Marvel vs. Capcom 3, other than a lot of characters got locked into being in the certain tiers because of their mobility options. And then you get to 4 or Infinite, which shit was very limited. No pun intended. No, fuck it. Pun intended. There's almost nothing to the game after you beat it arcade mode. Story mode was disturbing because the characters didn't move right and their animation and the way that they were designed just seemed really fucking weird. No true unlockables worth mentioning. No true secondary modes for fun and recreation outside of Fight Online or arcade mode. The Infinity Gems, because they're fucking gems, get over it. And they used to be called that, and they still should be. The Infinity Gems, no matter what, the Infinity Gems didn't break the game. But mechanics-wise, they weren't as critical, no pun intended that time, as X Factor. Now, just a brief reminder, X Factor is a speed and damage multiplier in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And the less characters you have, the stronger the damage and longer the effects last. Yeah, that's gone. In 4, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, you get the gems, and they go into a super mode, which activates one of 5 effects based on the gems that you have, or 6. I think there are 6 of them. I don't even remember the count anymore. And those effects, they weren't nearly as, you know, for lack of a better term, safe or damaging as X Factor ever was. I don't know what to say about that game other than I wish it didn't suck. Also, let's see, I said Nier. I said Horizon Zero Dawn. I said Guilty Gear. Yeah, that's enough for PlayStation. Okay. The new Switch Pro. Okay. I want them to get Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition because that's the only way we're going to get a playable Virgil in this day and era. Devil May Cry 5 is fucking depressing because everyone online, I think, has the case of the denials or loves lying to themselves. It's really weird. I am one of those people who truly understands and respects that people can have different opinions, but I see people generally lying for the game. Like making up the quality, the shit that happens, how it handles, all of that, and giving it perfect marks, 9 out of 9, all this other shit. And I'm just baffled by it.
But you get to play Virgil, his human half.
Which genuinely doesn't make any sense. Because, first off, even if it is Virgil, as a human, why does he not look for a sword, fight with a sword of any type? He's a very, very one-dimensional fighter. But see, also, where the fuck did that cane come from? I think they tried to imply it was their dad's cane, but why the fuck would Sparta need a cane? And on top of that, it's obviously got some type of demonic ability. So, I really don't understand anything about the entire machinations that went into creating V. All I know is they said that they wanted to create someone who could be considered a long-range fighter or a pet fighter. What in the fuck made you think Virgil would be a good choice for that? Should we mention spoilers? Should we say spoilers? I guess I'll add spoilers later on or something, or put a sign up or a warning on screen that says, hey, this is spoilers. Something like that. But, like, legit, fuck the bullshit. I mean, I want, on the Switch, I want them to get Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition or an up-resed version of Devil May Cry 3. Because for some reason, Capcom wouldn't put the HD collection on it. I also want them to start getting the mobile games that are really, really easy to produce. Just so it would be more fun and easy to play with people, you know, in a digital card game, for example, Tekken on a Nintendo Switch, than it would be over your phone. Because first off, Tekken needs battery life a lot. Ain't shit you can do about it. You have 10 matches in Tekken, and 10 matches is close to an hour. You almost had 20% battery. And there's no low resolution or low quality setting in that game. It just is how it is. I'd rather be chilling on my television or playing the game over the portable screen and, you know, charging it that way. Or if it gets low, putting it in dock, playing it on TV, playing the game that way, than with my cell phone. But Zax, what about BlueStacks? Yeah, well, BlueStacks doesn't always work for every single game on a laptop. And sometimes when you try to use BlueStacks, it just doesn't come out right. Most people who you see playing, you know, mobile games and recording that shit, what they're doing is they're screen recording and they have their cell phone set up to use their laptop as a display monitor. I know because I asked them. Anyways, well, outside of those two, well, because Dragon Ball was technically on everything, but outside of Dragon Ball FighterZ, Tekken, which came out this generation but not on the Switch, as far as shit that was directly on the Switch, I feel like they need to give ARMS another shot, because ARMS is fun, but I think the problem is that it doesn't look fun to people that spectate it, or they're thinking about buying it for someone they know. Because ARMS is good, but I think the biggest issue is just that the characters are too far away from each other at all times. What made Punch-Out special? You saw everything from above the head, let alone over the shoulder of Little Mac. And they knew to make the characters look a certain size or the camera to be a certain angle to emphasize the impact. Then you go look at fucking ARMS. Your character's all the way on the other side of the room. You got to throw out your attack in advance and hope that they fall into it or they can't block it fast enough. I don't mind that there's throw moves. It seems weird. But if they just sped up the combat in ARMS and they shrunk the distance that the characters are between each other and how they do their attacks, made them more varied, then stick your arm out. Here, it shoots a beam or a gun. Stick both your hands out. Sweet, now you got this cool throw. They could have had something. The potential is there. It really is. And other than that, Assault Spy isn't on Switch. Bayonetta 3. God damn it. I'm tired of waiting. Fucking Bayonetta 3. Period.
Yes.
All right, officer. Bring us home.
All right, let's see here. So, for topic one, after thinking over it a bit more, I'm also rather concerned of where they're going to go, because this could end extremely badly. I mean, E3 has kind of sort of been drifting slightly in the direction that they're apparently planning to go now, but it was always drifting. It was never so direct as this. So, yeah, unfortunately, all we could do is wait and watch in horror and hope that it doesn't end up with, a pile of shit. Which I can't really be pessimistic or optimistic about it. I can't be pessimistic because I'm too optimistic. I can't be optimistic because I see the reality.
Motherfucker, did no one teach you the definition of the word realist?
Alright, topic 2. I'm largely with Zeno on this one. It is something that people could transition over to slowly. But until it proves itself, I think it's probably best that people maybe don't fully commit. Like, I believe you were saying, Zach, that people just, or was it Zeno, saying that people could say that they're on both Twitch and this,
Zeno said it.
Mixer. Yeah, okay, yeah. But I would say that would probably be for the best. Because, well, as I believe you were saying, Zach, unless you're a really big, like, super popular person, switching over to that could just destroy your following. So, and also, I don't think it will necessarily go the same way that Twitch did with the whole, hey, let's get really popular and then start throwing in all this red tape and bullshit. It could go that way, but I think they would at least have some, people there to see, oh, that didn't work out well for Twitch. Maybe we shouldn't do that. So, yeah, that's my opinion on topic 2 is all that. Topic 3. I want to see how they handle current event. Because holy shit, in the last 3 years have been fucking crazy. I just want to see how the Boondocks interpret all that.
I just want to see them just refer to political correctness. I want to see what Huey would have to say about that. Or Ryan.
Riley would be the better choice.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, I want to see how will they, handle, current events and all that. I think it lends itself to a lot of potential comedy and some, pretty good messages too. Or potentially. All right. So topic 4. Some of these are going to be very, very far reaches. Like, probably never going to happen kind of things. But
Bro, just before you go too far in, remember the guidelines. A sequel of something that came out this generation.
Oh well, I guess that throws out a few of them. Alright, so let's see here then. Ace Combat 8. Because holy fuck, Ace Combat 7 was visually fucking amazing, even if they took a couple steps forward and a couple steps back in a few areas gameplay wise.
How have they not licensed Kenny Chesney's Flying to the
But
Danger
I want to
Zone?
see how that would look on the next generation. You know, yeah, I guess that one does count. The Mana series. You know, Legend of Mana, Sword of Mana, Secret Mana, all that. I'm wondering, how would that look on the on the next generation? Or if they'd, actually make a legit new game in the series, because, man, it's been a while. I think the last one I remember was on Wii U, and I think it was technically a remake. Alright, let's see here. Throws out those two. I think it was Zeno that mentioned Gears. Yeah, I'm also going to mention that one as well. It's a pretty fun game series. And I've heard like a bunch of different things about it, but this GTA 6 looks like it might be pretty cool if, they can manage to hold back forcing in microtransactions like they did with GTA 5 and that casino. And let's see here. Oh yeah, you mentioned all the stuff but near. Yeah, I want to see what Yoko Taro has in store for us next, and to see which ending he's from Nier Automata he's going to go with. Because as I recall, Nier Automata had what was it?
24 endings
4
plus
or 5 actual endings. And
24.
That were basically
24 endings plus the 2 from the novel, and I believe an extra one from the stage play.
Yeah, but as I recall, a lot of the endings of a lot of those 24 endings were just slightly different game over screens.
No.
I want them to choose the one where if you blow up inside the facility, it's just game over.
But yeah, I want to see
Damn, that was dark.
what Yoko Taro got for us next, and which ending is he gonna go with for the next one, or is he even gonna have 9S 2P and what was it, 8-2 showing up again at all? Maybe it'll be something entirely different. I mean, only he knows. I was about to say who knows, but obviously he would know. And I can't really think of much else right now, to be honest. So I guess that's it for me.
What about the Switch? You only did Sony.
Okay, the Switch. No, I don't think there was a Metroid game in this current generation.
Yes, there was.
Oh, there was? Okay, then I know they're working on the next Metroid Prime game, though is that only going to be on the Switch?
It's made by Nintendo, bro.
It's gonna be on Steam.
No, I mean, is... Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind if that was the case, but no.
Shit, I would.
What I mean is Nintendo gonna maybe put it on some sort of next generation Switch?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, then Metroid Prime. It'd be cool to see more of that because a lot of people were thinking Nintendo completely forgot about Metroid, but well,
No, that's F-Zero.
all right, and there's inevitably going to be a new Mario game, which, while I admit I'm not the biggest fan of Mario, I do rather enjoy the games.
Fuck that shit. Just because he said Mario, I want a new Sonic game that doesn't suck. That's all you got to do for me, Sega. Make a Sonic game that doesn't suck. I won't ask you for shit else except Skies of Arcadia 2. But if you make a Sonic game, 3D, don't suck, I'll give you my money. I promise.
What do you mean? You got Sonic Forces.
Fuck you.
In response to Sonic, in response to asking for a good 3D Sonic game, I only have this.
Yes. We've seen Sega's response to the fans about that topic. You don't need to repeat it.
Admittedly, though, I'm with you. I also want an actually good 3D Sonic game. I know it's not going to happen, but hey, nothing wrong with hoping that they'll be better. Even though you're pretty sure that.
But Sonic 06.
Okay, that was you wrong for that. That you should apologize. That's fucked up, man. I would not sit there and talk about your mama like that to your face. That's fucked up.
But wait, there's more.
Nah, actually, there was nothing lower than that. That nothing did that bad ever again.
Sonic and the Secret Rings?
Was not even half the garbage of 06.
You mean like, never mind. That game was just really
Weird.
You're right.
Just call it weird. It was fucking weird.
Yeah.
Yo. All right.
That Generations though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really understand how to. People were saying like Mania and Generations are like good Sonic games, but it's just like, what? Why?
You know, if you're gonna play Sonic games in the background, you should at least put it on mute.
In my defense, I was already watching Sonic way before I started commenting.
Alright,
So what was your question, Zeno?
What makes it good? What makes a Sonic game good?
Oh, it's very simple. First, you get a cup of boiling water. And you make sure the heat is somewhere either between medium high or just on high. Then you throw some Sonic Generations into the pot, right?
Okay.
But then once you get that Sonic Generations in there, you got to remember the most important thing. Locking in the fucking frame rate to make sure it never truly drops too far below 60. Because if you don't do that, you will fuck up people's ability to enjoy the game. Not because, hey, Sonic got slower. It actually fucks up your ability to progress through the stage with speed, which is literally the reason people play the damn games. But then once you do that, you go and see if you got some leftover, Sonic color style cumin. Now, cumin's a pretty good seasoning, but you got to make sure you got some leftover cumin for that Sonic Generations to go with the Sonic colors. And then what you do is you take the stages and you make sure that no matter what route someone takes, that every single route is at least 45 to 35 seconds longer in length. Also, once you get the final ingredient, 7 chaotic emeralds, I don't care where you get them. There's some chaotic gems going on over in Marvel shit. And you have a super Sonic that'll rise out of the crust. Make sure that the player can access Super Sonic throughout the whole game, not just the final stage. like they did for almost 12 years straight. Not joking. 12 years straight. So that way, people can replay the game and you increase the fundamental replay value. And also, remember to share it with your friends. Knuckles, Tails, maybe Shadow, not a Vegeta fan. Metal Sonic, not sure if he's actually a good guy yet. So that way, you can increase the replayability, but also the play styles. Knuckles may be able to reach paths that no one else in the game can, including Tails. Shadow, the bitch slow down time, and that's about all he can do. Maybe he also slows down the in-game timer. He ain't faster than Sonic, but he can manipulate time better. And then, once you get that all together, you let your fans play test it. Then you do, here's the tricky part. A lot of companies get this wrong. You do what the fuck they tell you and fix the mistakes they show you. And as soon as you do that, I promise you, you will have the greatest Sonic souffle that there has ever been. Because if you don't, Sega, we already made the Sonic engine 4 years ago and it only gets better over time. We will fucking make our own Sonic games and they will be better than yours.
So you want a bunch of Sonic the Hedgehog games?
That don't suck.
Which Sonic the Hedgehog games suck?
Sonic 06.
No. You missed. No. Not like Sonic Adventure, Sonic Heroes. I mean, like, there's the 2D side scrolling. That's what you're talking about, right? Just make a bunch of those.
No, you did not hear me say that in the slightest. I said Generations.
That's what Generations is.
Motherfucker, no, it's not. That's Mania.
Mania is the one that went specifically back to the Sega Genesis style.
I didn't mean
Sonic Generations did both.
You missed
both.
I didn't mean literally. I didn't mean literally a bunch of 2D side scrolling.
That's what you said.
I meant the same formula. Is what I was saying.
No, I don't want that formula. That's why I specifically mentioned Generations and Colors. Because they don't use that formula. What they do is
Oh, you're talking about the Sonic Unleashed, just the day stage formula, that thing. Okay.
No, I'm not. Which is why I didn't bring it the fuck up. You're talking to a Sonic connoisseur. I'm being literal with you because I don't know what you do and don't have access to or Googled. I said Generations and Colors, but make the stages longer and add more playable characters and give us access to their super forms if we unlock them so we could use them through the whole game, not just the final stage. I didn't make it complicated. Listen, Generations and Colors both have one camera angle sections. I don't have a problem with that. Just don't make every single stage 100% only looking at the camera from one angle. Because then there's no point in it even being 3D at that point. Why waste the extra money?
Pretty much.
They piecemealed it. And because they piecemealed it, they made better games.
So one thing I'll mention regarding the, hey, don't get slowdowns in the game, I now remember, I believe it was Sonic Mania, where they had the problem with, at least
DRM,
version, where De Novo caused massive slowdowns, and it basically wrecked the game. That shit was bull crap. But anyway, so yeah, another Sonic game, that'd be nice, so long as it's a 3D Sonic game that doesn't suck, because people foolishly had high hopes for that Sonic Boom, or what was it, Sonic Boom and the Rise of Lyric, I think it was.
No one had hope for that. Everyone knew it was ass.
I knew a few people who had very foolish hope for it. I tried to warn them, but they didn't listen.
All you had to say was 3 words. Look at Knuckles.
True enough. That was pretty bad. But yeah. I'm curious what the next Legend of Zelda game is going to look like. And, if they're just going to make another copy of another game like Breath of the Wild.
Motherfucker, that's exactly what they're gonna do. They have a trailer for it. You already knew the answer.
Actually, no, I didn't. Sorry.
It was the primary reason that people bought a Switch. Literally, it was a 8 and 10 split of people. 10 people buy a Switch, 8 people get Breath of the Wild. The trailer is like 3 months old, man. It's the same shit. It's literally a sequel. It's called Breath of the Wild 2.
Okay.
I'm not mad. I just really don't know how the fuck you missed that.
I wasn't really following Legend of Zelda all that closely. Yeah, I played through Breath of the Wild and it was fun, but other than maybe Pokemon or Metroid, I don't really follow Nintendo games all that closely.
But you bought Breath of the
I've always
Wild
been a
1.
Sony
Okay.
guy. Well, Sony or PC.
All right. With that being said, this has been another exciting episode of Token Games Podcast. I'm probably going to use River City Girls footage again. And I will see you guys when I see you guys.
Laters.